First part, we will be introducing the software lifecycle. In the contents of this video, we are going to be covering the software lifecycle, the complete software lifecycle process, feasibility study, project management, designing systems, testing systems, building systems, deploy systems, maintaining systems, and systems retirement. Also in the contents, we will be covering the software lifecycle documentation, which comprises the feasibility report, the system requirement spec, the project plan, the system design spec, system development plan, system and software test plan, system deployment plan, system operations plan, and system retirement plan. Introduction. Software engineering is the art and science of building quality software. Just as you would follow a proven system of steps using established tools to build any other product, in software you follow a system process that gradually defines the required system. Then it designs it, then you build it, then you deploy it, then you maintain the system over its lifetime of its use before the system becomes old and out of date, and then it is discarded and or replaced by a new system. The complete software lifecycle process is as follows. The software lifecycle: we start the work, we first carry out a feasibility study, we carry out requirements capture, we set up a project management system, we design the systems that we're going to build, then we build the systems and the software, write the program, the software to run on those systems. Then we have to test the quality of what we've built, and to do that we test the systems and the software, carrying out quality assurance activities. Then we deploy the systems and the software, which means to install the systems that we've built in our customer's environment so that the customer can start using the systems. Then once the customer takes responsibility for the systems and starts using the systems in his business, we carry on and maintain the systems for the duration of a few months or a few years, that the life of the system, until it's decommissioned or deleted or replaced. And then that's when we finish the work, after the system goes live in production. Okay, the first stage, as mentioned before, is the feasibility stage. Next, in this stage, we carry out project and product feasibility study. We confirm that the project is feasible and that the product that we're going to be building is going to be fit for purpose and is going to meet our customer requirements. Then we do some market research and confirm our product is correct and is not going to be replaced by any other products or services in the market in the near future. So we're building a system which is going to provide value to our customer and is not available for free or very cheap elsewhere in the marketplace. Okay, next stage is requirements capture. In this stage we capture all of the requirements and functionality that are needed from the new system that's going to be built. So we do this formally and we document everything, and we get all of the different stakeholders involved, including the business management, including the IT teams, and including the end users of the system, the customers and the customer groups. So we document all the systems and software business requirements, listing complete functionality and any risks or assumptions that we made when creating the requirements. What we do is we survey our business representatives and our target user groups, and they get them to review and sign off on the requirements as being correct and meeting their needs and wants, and when the system will be delivered, it will meet this needs and wants at the correct time and the correct place, with the correct functionality and at the correct price. Then we're going to analyze the business domain, which is the business and the industry that the system is going to work in, and we analyze the product or the functionality that we're building, just to make sure that what we're producing is unique and valuable to the company and the users, and is not going to be replaced or made obsolete by other products appearing in the marketplace. We also do analysis of our competitors, just to make sure that our competitors are not going to produce a similar product, and also to analyse what the impact is going to be on our competitors from the product that we're building. Because, for example, we may be building a product, but then if our customers are building the same product, then there could be some some of the products could be redundant. Okay, next stage is set up our project and teams. So in this stage we create the project management team that's going to run the project and control it from beginning to end. We set up our project management team and our project manager's office and get the project rolling. We write our project plan for the project and get that reviewed and signed off by all the people involved. We do a risk analysis to understand what the risks are to the project. We do a cost analysis to understand what the project is going to cost, and we do a benefit analysis to make sure that the benefits provided by the project will be greater than the costs and the risks. Then we create a project plan or timetable, and we book in all of the different people and resources that are needed for the project. And we book everything in our project calendars. We produce a complete systems and software development plan. So this will be used by the development teams to start producing components of the system. We implement total quality management and other quality assurance processes to make sure that the quality of the work that we're producing, our plans, our software and our systems is of a high standard. Then we produce a work breakdown structure, which is WBS, which is listing all of the project tasks, who is responsible for the tasks and when they will be completed, and how much resources are required for each task to be completed. Okay, moving on to the next stage, we're designing systems architecture. In this stage we design, the development team will design the technical nature of the systems and the technical architecture of the computer systems, and including the hardware, software and data. required, and also listing all of the tools that are required to build a system and the resources, including all the different skills that we need for different people in our development teams. So in this stage we design systems architecture. We produce a system's design specs based upon our requirements. So when we design our systems, everything is driven by the requirements. So analysing the system requirements gives us the input that we need to determine what needs to be built and what functionality we need to be building into our system. And it must be very closely tied in with the system's requirements document. Next, we design our systems. We write design specifications, get them reviewed, signed off. Then we get our programmers to start developing the software and putting together different components of the system and start doing unit testing of those systems. Next, we design our subsystem integrations, which is how the different smaller components of the systems are going to be integrated with each other and communicate with each other, and how they're going to be functioning overall as a complete system once the components have been integrated. Okay, next stage. Next stage is the system testing stage. So in this stage we test all of the systems and the software. So once we've built the system and delivered it and completed the development stage of the building the software and the systems, it's passed over to our testing team, and the software and systems are copied over into test environments. So this was a separate team that's called the system test team that's responsible for building a copy of the development system, following all of the documentation, making sure everything works, and building their own test environments, building their own testing tools, and writing test plans and test strategies which are derived from the requirements specification. So the test team will independently write test plans and test scripts and test strategies and create test data to test the new system, and they will check that the system is performing as required, but by checking it again that it conforms with the software requirements specification. Each system is tested and each release of the software is identified and tested. We identify and report all errors, failures and defects and bugs that are found in the system, in the test environment, and those are listed and logged onto a database of recording system, defect tracking system, and then those are assigned back to the development team for fixing and correction. Once the first phase of testing is completed, an automated test suite is built so that tests can be run faster, and functionality has already been tested and working is known to be satisfactory. That is put into our regression test suite to make sure that each time we get a new release of the software, we run the test suite, and it's an automatic test program, and it runs for test cases and test scripts automatically, and it will check the latest release of the software. It has not changed or is still conforming with the requirements. If new bugs and defects are raised in new releases, what will happen is when the automated test suites are run, they will pick up the new bugs and they can be reported back to the development teams. The next stage is to organise beta testing, which is testing by the users and the user representatives within the company, and that will be carried, that's called a beta test. It's basically a test of a system that's just been developed. So it's an early test, and it's tested by the internally within the company, within the development teams and the user groups. And then we go on to alpha testing, or the customer testing phases, where the system is released to the draft copy of the system and software is released to our customers for initial testing and familiarization. Once testing has been completed and all of the major defects have been fixed, the testing phase is signed off as completed, and the system can be delivered to the next stage. The next stage is to build the systems and software, instruct the development teams to build software and as per the agreed project plan. We utilise a system development methodology based on RAD, Rapid Application Development, Agile and Scrum, which are different methodologies for developing systems, and we also use object-oriented design. We agree system and software release schedule, so the project plan, which contains a copy of the development plan, which states when different components and functionality of the system is going to be built and when it's going to be released for testing to the test team and to the customer groups and to the customers, external customers. Okay, next stage is to deploy the systems and software. In this stage, we install the systems and software on our target systems, organise installation and delivery of initial systems to customers or production sites. So in this stage we deliver the new system and software to our customers to start using on the live system. We once it's installed on the customer systems, we organise customer training classes, so we train the customers and users on how to use the new system and get them familiarized with it. We need to set up a customer support team, a help desk and call centers to deal with calls from the customers and users when they have problems and when they need help fixing things and fixing issues and need more training on the system that they've just been delivered to them, and also for logging calls to the call center, so that the call center can send engineers out to the customers' premises to fix the systems if there's a system failure or a software failure occurring. And the call centers will provide 24-hour support, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. Okay, next stage is once the systems have gone into production and gone live and the customer's is using the systems will run maybe for a few years, and they will get new releases delivered over time as customer requests new functionality, and this is the main sort of production life cycle of production stage, live stage of the systems and software. We plan and schedule and deliver new releases on a regular basis to the customer, and those are delivered and installed and tested. Software contains new features that the customer has requested, new requirements that have risen since the original requirements were written and since the original system was released. And the new systems and software go through the same software life cycle stages of development, testing, and going into production environments. Okay, next stage. Eventually, after a few years, the system will become out of date and the customer will think about replacing the system or shutting the system down and replacing it with a new system, or just shutting the system down and maybe outsourcing that work that those systems do to external companies, in the same country or overseas, for example. Systems retirement and deletion stage is to plan for and implement system deletion or replacement when required at the end of the system life cycle. Okay, the next section covers the software lifecycle documents. Each stage in the software lifecycle produces a set of documents which are passed into which become the input for the next stage, and each set of documents have to be agreed and signed off and approved as correct before they go on to the next stage. So, introduction to software lifecycle documents. Each stage of the software lifecycle process produces an output set of documents, which then forms the input for the next stage of the lifecycle. Each set of documents produced must be checked for correctness and signed off as acceptable by the project managers, IT departments, business managers, and user groups and external customers. The main milestones of the project are these. We start the project, we build systems, we using different project stages, and then we deliver the systems to the customer. Once the delivery is complete, once the development is complete, we deliver a complete system, and then at that point, once the system is delivered and accepted by the customer, that is the end of that project. The project is complete. Okay, next we're going to look at the documents that are produced in different stages. First of all, we have the feasibility stage. In this, we produce the feasibility study report. Next, we have the system requirements document, sometimes called the System Requirements Document or Specification, SRS. The output documents become the System Requirements Specification, and this results from an activity carried out in which the requirements are completed and agreed, in which the system is modelled using some kind of modelling methodology such as UML, Unified Modelling Language, to describe and document what the system is going to be doing and how it's going to behave. We also create use cases documents for the system which describe what users are involved, what different kinds of users are involved in the system, the end users, and how they will use and what functionality they need when they're going to be using the system. Okay, next stage is project planning. In this stage, the output documents are project plans, and these result from activities carried out as follows. The project plan is agreed and signed off by the business management, user groups, and IT development teams and external customers. The project plan is written by project managers. Next stage is design stage, system design, and we produce documentation for this stage. The output documents are going to be system and software design specifications. These result from activities carried out such as producing a system and software design spec, which will be produced by the IT department, and they will have technical people there, programmers, system analysts and system architects who will look at the requirements, system requirements spec, and from that they will design a system architecture and system relationships and system modules and software architecture and the database architecture for the system that is going to be built to meet to fulfill the functionality that's required in the system requirements spec. Next we have system development stage, and the documents produced in this one. We have the system development plan, which is written by a joint effort with the project managers and the IT department, describing how the system is going to be developed and planned and delivered, and the different releases involved in developing the systems, different components of the system are going to be developed, and when those components are going to be released and completed and delivered for testing. These result, the system development plan comes from different activities carried out, such as developing and the development of a project plan and release schedule, the design and building of computer systems, environments and configuration plans to run the system and software. Also the execution of different quality assurance reviews at different stages, and also a list of the bugs and defects raised and fixed by the development teams. Bugs can be raised by the development team internally when they find problems with the requirement spec, and those bugs are sent back to the business and the external customers to decide how those issues or discrepancies should be interpreted. System and configuration bugs are recorded and fixed internally in the development team, and once the software has been delivered to the software testing team, the software testing will find defects and bugs and raise those and hand them back to the development team to fix in their system, and fixes are going to be delivered in following software releases. The development team also is responsible for doing backups of all of the software and archiving all of the software, just in case there's a system failure. All the code, all of the documentation, and all of the configuration plans and development plans and documents are backed up and stored remotely. Also the system has to have build and configuration manuals which will instruct the development team members how to build and configure their system, and they will also serve as documentation for the end customer, who will have his own development IT team involved with the systems that we deliver, and they will need to understand how the systems work and how they are configured. And also support documentation for the teams providing support to customers. Okay, next stage. The document stage, systems and software test plan. So the next stage is to produce a system and software test plan for testing systems and software. The output documents will be system and software test plan. This is produced by activities carried on out, including creating a test and quality assurance strategy by the by the test team. To create the test team will also create test plans and test data and test tools to carry out the testing activity. The test team will also create test summary reports at the end of each testing cycle to communicate to the project management what testing was done, what defects were found, and how long it took. Also create a list of bugs and defects found, and these are passed on to the development team for fixing in the next release. Also, the test team creates and works with the customer to create a customer test plan. So when the customer receives the system, the customer carries out his own testing of the system and software, so that he can confirm his acceptance when the time is right. The test team also creates user manuals for how to use the software and the systems, and the test team also checks the user manuals and the training guides to make sure that they are correct and they correspond to the software and the system that's being built. The next stage is the systems deployment stage. In this stage, the system is delivered to the customer. So the output documents are going to be system deployment plan. So this plan describes how the system is going to be delivered to the customer. And it's based on activities carried out as follows. The development team will create a deployment plan, configuration plan for the customer's building, customer's system. They will create a project plan listing all of the external contractors involved and associated tasks. So there may be external people coming in to set up racks and install wiring and install systems and servers and PCs and Wi-Fi networks and firewalls and routers, and in the customer environment. So the project plan development team creates the project plan for the external customer, listing all of the tasks involved in installing and delivering and providing the system to the customer. So the development team need to create a disaster recovery plan and a backup plan. The backup plan is for daily backups. At the end of each day, all of the databases and tapes and configuration of the customer systems must be copied and backed up onto tape or media and then stored in a remote place. In case there was a bomb or a terrorist attack on that building and all of the systems were destroyed, then the customer would need to have a copy of his data and all his system configuration so that he can build a copy of the system in another build somewhere else remotely and resume running his business from there. A disaster recovery strategy is precisely that. It's a plan for what would happen if the building was destroyed and how the customer would restore service to his business from the computer systems that were destroyed. So in a disaster recovery system, a complete copy of the customer's system is built in a building remotely, maybe in a secret place to where the customer's main systems are, and every month or every 2 months or on a regular basis a simulation is done of that building being system having a systems failure. So those main customer systems are shut down, and operations are switched over to the disaster recovery systems, and those systems will be tested by customers and users, and to ensure that everything is working okay. So in case of disaster, they could actually carry on working in the disaster recovery building. Usually this is done at the weekend because that's when the main systems are not being used usually. We also create security plans and data security plans to back up all of the data and to prevent hacking from external hackers trying to disrupt the system. Document stage, system operations. The output documents for this stage are a system operations plan. Activities carried out are create a daily plan for maintenance activities. So once the system is delivered to the customers and starts its operational phase, the system has to be supported and maintained by the development team. So they have a daily plan for maintaining activities, which covers backups and disaster recovery and configuration and monitoring the system to make sure the system is operating in a healthy manner, to make sure that it's not running out of disk space or CPU resource or disk file space, and also to monitor the system for attacks from external hackers and other people interested in destroying or stealing the data on that system. The development team also create, in the operations plan, they create an archiving and backup tapes strategy and schedule. They create passwords and systems. Okay, so we create a daily plan for maintenance activities. We create a daily archiving and backup tapes plan to be produced. We create a list of passwords and system security certificates that need to be stored in a secure place. There's also creating firewalls to protect against hackers and unauthorized access. Next stage is the system retirement stage. In this stage, the system runs for a few years and eventually becomes out of date, and technology becomes out of date, and the customer will eventually decide to retire or replace that system. So that system will be need to be deleted. Again, at this point we need to decide how the system is going to be retired and how the users of this legacy system are going to be migrated onto the new system that's taking its place, and that needs to be done in a safe and secure way so that it doesn't affect the business operations of the customer. And the next step is completion. Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to our channel, Baines Infotech. Learn to earn more. And see you next time. Thanks very much. That was the video for Software Engineering, the Art of Building Software Systems, Introduction to the Software Lifecycle. Have a nice day.